Welcome everyone. Hope your day is going great. Yeah, I'll kind of share with you my story because some of you may be able to relate to what I'm going to share with you because it's actually kind of comical now. Let me just take you back. Tony Swantek is a friend of mine. We've known each other for about 15 years. I knew Tony was doing well. I had no idea how well. And then we ran into each other at the PGA National. I was going to speak at an event. He was doing an event, and we were going to get together, but we didn't have time before we left. So he's like, "Look, I want to fly you out, show you what I'm doing." And so I went out there last year. He's like, "Yeah, so I've got an accounting company that did 10 billion the last 24 months. So that's 10 billion with a B in 24 months with about a $2 billion profit." He said, "I got a credit card processing company doing 4 or 5 billion a year." He's got a delivery company that he launched back in 2016. And this is the kind of visionary that he is. I mean, you can imagine all of us right now going, "Hey, listen, how about we go out here and just take on, Uber Eats and DoorDash? Let's just go start a delivery company with the intention that we're going to do so well, they're going to want to buy us." Well, it worked even better than that. They became an Inc. 500 company and ended up merging with delivery.com. Now he's the number one franchisee in the entire world for delivery.com. And then he shared with me he has oil wells and he started buying Bitcoin at $200 a coin and he has real estate. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Tony, like I had no idea. Like you're not posting that stuff all over social." And so I knew you'd done well, but I didn't know how well. So when he called me up one day and all of us have our gifts, and Tony just has that knack for knowing, "Hey, look, here's an opportunity. Here's the next big trend. Here's something that's going to be disruptive. Here's the right place to be." And so he said, "Look, you want to fly with me out to Utah? We're going to meet with like one of the guys. He's one of the top level one blockchain guys, if not the top in the world. He's the one that helped start Gala Games and all of that. And we're going to talk about nodes and blockchain." And I'm like, "Tony, I don't know if I should know what a node is, but I have no clue. I don't even know what a node is. I don't know really anything about blockchain. But if you're asking me to jump on your private jet, fly out to Utah, hang out with some billionaires and learn, I would love that opportunity." So I do that. I get on this private jet. We go to Utah and I'm sitting there and it's a fire hose of information for 2 days straight. And I didn't even know what the purpose of all. I just knew that every project was having a PowerPoint and they were showing like Grow and Galvin and Element. And I'm like, wow, these are like pretty impressive projects. And oh my gosh, like this is not just like a business opportunity. Like these are projects that are going to impact the community, impact the world. And then I started learning about blockchain, going, wow, okay, so the internet is like the highway. This is my interpretation, the highway to deliver information. We used to have to wait till we had 3 channels in our house. We had this big old antenna on top of our house the size of a small airplane. And you had to turn it sometimes to get the 3 channels to even come in clear. And if you wanted to see the weather, you had to wait till 6 o'clock news and listen to what the weatherman said in that area. Well, now with the internet, you can jump on there. We can find the weather out any place in the world over the next several days, like what it is right now. So it delivers information instantaneously. But back when the internet launched, now we have blockchain, which is basically I look at it as the highway to deliver value because I like to simplify things. And so when I started really understanding and seeing, and it's like once someone mentions something to us, it's that reticular activating system. It's the RAS for short. Let me give you an example. And this is the way we were created. Our brain is designed to block most of the things out because it would drive us crazy if we paid attention to everything. So you have to tell your brain what you want. That's why goals are important. And it allows things in that serve your goals, block things out that do not. It lets in what's important to you. So you buy your new car and you never noticed how many new cars are on the road like the one you just bought until you bought it. They were there before, but now it's important to you. So once I started hearing blockchain, then I started researching and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's everywhere. Like it's growing faster than the internet in 1996. It's the fastest adopted technology in history. And it's not a matter of if, like I've got an article right here from the World Economic Forum that said blockchain will disrupt $867 trillion in traditional business markets. So what happened when I left, I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I didn't think any of this was for me, but if I can purchase some nodes, let those nodes run in the cloud, not even have to put them on my computer, I'll do that. And then I just kept learning and I kept seeing more and more. And then my reward started building up to millions. And I'm like, wow, this is. And so a couple months ago, I got to the point going, you know what? Everyone I know, love, and care about, I want to know about this. Because not only do you have, back when Gala started, and I heard Tomas's story and John's story, and I'm like, man, they bought these nodes and it went from literally like monopoly money when you looked at their rewards, like a fraction of a penny, all the way up to 80 some cents. And I'm like, that's amazing, right? And they had 10 people working at with them. Then they have 200 now. They've now done 500 billion transactions on the blockchain. They've now got 14, 15 projects. Their goal is to go to, over 1,000 projects. Ethereum, I think they have about 600 legit projects. And then when I started learning about the community and how one project supports another project, and I'm like, man, and Tony said, listen, my mentor taught me. So here's Tony. I know people that have done well. I don't know too many people or any that I can think of right now that have multiple companies that have done billions over the last 2 years. Not just one company, but more than one company. So when he told me this, I paid attention. He's like, Darren, my mentor taught me this a long time ago. Number one, you have to be in the right place at the right time. Number two, you have to know you're in the right place at the right time. And then number three, you have to take immediate, massive action. So once I got that, I'm like, wow, like this is the right place, the right time. You got the Bitcoin halving that's coming up. You got the ETFs, like Bitcoin hit $1 trillion market cap. You got BlackRock coming in, Fidelity coming in, all these big names. And one of my mentors told me a long time ago, he talked about how opportunities go through 3 phases. Number one, they're ridiculed. Number two, they're violently opposed. And then number 3, they're self-evident, but only 3% get involved in the first 2 most profitable phases, which is ridiculed and opposed. Back when the internet launched, people were like, who owns the internet? Like, how do I get on this magical internet thing? Well, AOL started sending out CDs, and that was kind of the highway to get on the internet. Yeah, I got a friend of mine. I met a guy here in Northern Virginia who was selling cell phones in the late 80s. Now, we look at it now and go, man, everybody knows what a cell phone is. Exactly. Opportunity over. Because he got involved when he went up to someone and he would say something like, hey, Brian, you should really think about having a phone in your car. I know it's as big as a backpack. I know we have to bolt it in. Well, why would I need that phone? Well, Brian, he goes, Darren, is the reception really good? No, Brian, it's actually terrible. There's only a few towers. Okay, well, then is it cheap? No, the phone is actually several $1,000s. Well, it must be cheap to operate. No, it's actually quite a bit per month, and then you're going to have to pay several dollars a minute. Brian's like, Darren, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Why not just wait till I get home? Why am I going to pay that kind of money? But that's where the opportunity, when people go, man, I wish everyone saw this. No, you don't. Don't want what you don't want. When you go through the ridiculed and opposed phase, that's exactly where you want to be. So when all of these things started going through my mind, and when I immediately said blockchain, maybe for them, it's not for me. I'm not a techie. I don't know anything about it. I don't even know what a node is. That's when I learned, hey, pay attention, because that's where the opportunity was. I'll give you one more example. I saw Dr. Fred was on just a second ago, okay? So if I went to Dr. Fred years ago and I go, hey, Dr. Fred, you know how you and I were raised never to get into a stranger's car. Don't let strangers in your car. I've got this awesome business model. What if we pay to get in strangers' cars? What if we let people pay us to get in our car? We've been like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Why would it? That's Uber. The largest taxi service in the world owns no cars. Hey, what about letting strangers, complete strangers, stay in your house? Well, that's a stupid idea, Darren. That was Airbnb, right? Largest, basically, hotel chain with no hotels, no buildings. Or you look at DoorDash, largest restaurant service, has no restaurants. And so when I started understanding, we had a cell phone company approach us, and they go, listen, we can't buy land all over the world. We don't want to. We don't need to. All we need is people like you, Darren, where you can allow us to use a piece of your land, and we did, because they paid us a lot of money to put one tower on that land that handles transactions for cell phones every single day. So when I learned that nodes are really using other people's computing power, we no longer have to have it on our computer if we don't want to. We can host it in the cloud for $4.95 a month. Then everything started coming together. And I'm like, this is the biggest thing I've ever seen. If it's going to disrupt $867 trillion in traditional businesses, if you look at Blockbuster, why would we change? We're a monster. We dominate. And then Netflix is like, no, there's a change coming. We can do better in the eyes of the consumer. Things are changing. Things are shifting. We're going to disrupt the way people watch movies and TV. They literally, go Google the story. They laughed Netflix out of their office. They could have bought it for $50 million. Later on, Blockbuster bankrupts $1 billion plus in debt. Netflix dominates. So here we are today. Why am I here today? Because we're going to roll out a project. When I had this idea and went to Tony and we took it to write in the group, I go, man, if you look at video conferencing, there's been a massive shift. We know after the shutdowns and all that stuff, I won't even say the name, more and more people, they're working virtually. And so I started looking up numbers. And back in 2019, I don't know if this was daily or just total, but Zoom had about 10 million users. Well, after growing 2,900% on a day-by-day basis, today's Zoom alone averages 300 million daily active users. That was in February 21, 2024. So those numbers are pretty recent. 78% of corporate companies are using video conferences for team collaboration. 96% of organizations believe video conferencing can increase employee productivity. So here's the challenge. For users, who do we know that does video meetings? Every one of us, every entrepreneur, most employees, most companies. But the challenge for users like us is privacy and security concerns. Even with banking, if someone hacks our bank, all of our information they have under one roof in that one system. If it's on the blockchain, a piece of it is on many different computers, right? And that's my way of putting it. And so when our information is on one platform, one video conferencing platform, whether it's Zoom or Microsoft Meeting or any of that, there's definitely privacy and security concerns. Then you have limited control over your data. We don't own our data. We jump on platforms like this, they own our data. They can monetize our data. And there's no financial incentives. So today, every one of you, if we would have sent you a Google Meet, go to webinar, Microsoft Team, Zoom, it doesn't matter. But if you had a platform that you earned digital rewards for using it, would you ever use another platform? No, you would never use another platform. Why do I go to the gas station and go, nope, I'm not using my debit card. I'm using my American Airlines card because I want to get my rewards to use to go to places like Hawaii and stuff like that with my wife and my family, right? That's when I go get a smoothie bowl, hey, make sure I get my rewards for getting my smoothie and my tonic shot. And so that's just a few little things for like individual users. Now let's look at, for example, corporations. You're like, well, why would that matter to me? Because the success of this platform is going to matter to all of us. Because how many of us would have loved to have been a part of Zoom when it first launched? Every single one of us. Right now, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. We have the opportunity because if you have a node, one vote. There's no centralized owner of this platform. We will be the owners of this platform. We will be the community. We will be the ones driving the revenue. And so let's talk about, for example, businesses. They have increased operational costs. When you're the blockchain, it decreases your cost. Not only that, if you're earning rewards and the company can use that to pay monthly fees, that's reducing your cost. Compliance and confidentiality risk. If you talk to companies, they're terrified at what happens if they're hacked because the fines and the legal implications that they can have because of compliance, all the new laws and things like that. So if it's on the blockchain, you have a lot more security, a lot more privacy. And then there's a long list, like inefficiencies and remote collaboration and lack of innovation and competitive edge. We talked about Blockbuster and Netflix. If we don't disrupt, we die. Engagement and productivity concerns. When you're rewarding people for doing the right behaviors on a platform, right? They're going to want to do it. You reward what you want repeated. And so we're going to be working on that. And then when you look at a couple more statistics, then I'll tell you how you can be a part of it from before we even start. We're in the pre-launch phase right now. Couple other numbers that I had or stats. Rapid growth of video conferencing. It talks about it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's continuing to have rapid growth over the next several years. Increase in remote work. According to a survey, 16% of companies globally are fully remote. 62% of workers aged 22 to 65 claim to work remotely at least occasionally, showing a shift towards telecommuting and the need for effective video conferencing solutions. There's a huge demand for better security and privacy, with 68% of organizations experiencing one or more endpoint attacks that successfully compromise data or to an IT infrastructure. Video is a preferred communication tool. 75% of employees prefer video over traditional conference calls, indicating it's a critical role in video communication and modern communication. Blockchain and reducing cost. The blockchain technology can reduce infrastructure costs for banks up to 30%. Economic impact of video conferencing says that it's helped 94% of businesses increase productivity, with teams saving an average of 2 hours per week, with improved collaboration and communication, and on and on. So there's all these stats that just keep going, wow, okay, what's the solution? The solution is the platform we're launching. It's going to be, Rally is going to be one of the first video conferencing system or software projects that is decentralized and that actually addresses all of those concerns for individuals, for users, for businesses, and rewards you. If you're earning digital rewards for a meeting, why would we ever do it on another platform? And so this is why we believe, and there's a lot of phenomenal projects that we know in the Connect community, and I'm excited about all of them. But the reason we're really excited about this, and we believe it's going to go viral, day one, in the next few weeks, our goal is to launch in the next few weeks. I don't want to give you an exact time because there's a lot of people working extremely hard to bring this to the market. Now, right now, as we know, the tokenomics, here's how it works. With the different projects, there's 100,000 nodes total. So if we got involved in Gala back in 2018, whatever the price was, 2,000, 2,500, I don't know what it was back then, somewhere around that. Right now, if you can find the Gala node, it's $100,000 because every 100, the price goes up $100. So the other day, we're like, listen, people are throwing money. They want to be a part of this immediately. So we put it in the shopping cart in your Connect back office. We did not do this is before the email went out. This is before any Zooms. In the first 2 hours, we sold $1.2 million of Rally in 2 hours. So if we go, hey, that's it, automatically should be a $400 to $600 more that day within 2 hours. So we decided, yes, 2 hours, not 2 days, my fault, 2 hours. So we decided to hold the price until April 5th, which is, what is today? Today is, I don't even know what today is. I don't mess with my phone here.
It's the third.
Third. Okay, so we got 2 days, less than 48 hours, April 5th at midnight. Then we're going to take and release it to where it should be. So you figure if we sold 1.2 million in the first 2 hours, can you imagine what we're going to sell by April 5th at midnight? It could go up $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. We don't really know because I talked to Tony the other day and he's like, hey, look, one guy told me that he has someone get ready to buy 300 Rally nodes. That one person. Well, that alone is going to jack the price up $300. So your node is not going to be generating rewards until the project is launched. And when you look at the tokenomics, when there's 50 billion tokens in these projects, okay, 50 billion in these projects, they release half of the rewards the first year. So 25 billion the first year, then half of that the next year, half of that the next year. So if you ever want to be in at the lowest price the node will ever be, it's right now. With the least amount of people, it's right now. With the most amount of rewards, it's right now. Because all of us look back and go, man, I wish I was there with Tomas got 500 gallon nodes, right? And John got his nodes and they went to work. That's over. That ship has sailed. But we have the opportunity right now. So what I'm doing is I've never been a part of something where I felt obligated to tell the ones that I know, love, and care about as fast as I can. I don't care if they do it or not. I'm not convincing them. I want them to almost have to sell me why they want to do it. But I don't want them coming back to me at Christmas going, if you knew, why didn't you tell me? Why do all my kids have nodes? My adult children. I've got 5 kids. The youngest is 16, so the other 4 are adults. Most of them are not going to go out and promote nodes. But guess what? They're having nodes and them operating on the cloud, earning rewards. And I look back, and if Gala went from where it went to 80 some cents, and all of a sudden we're doing day one meetings in over 100 countries when we launch this project. And then we're going to have a free package just like Zoom. Then we're going to have different packages and different bells and whistles. We're working on all of that right now. Our goal, this project is never going to be done because we're always going to be working to improve it, always going to be looking to be cutting edge and to do better than everyone else. Okay. And so our goal is to put on millions of subscribers, generate tons of revenue, right? Build the community, build the brand, all of those things. And so my encouragement to all of you today, okay, if you don't have your free, Connect account, get with the person that invited you, get your Connect account. You can go in your back office. If you see the vision of what I'm seeing, and several of you are already seeing, like John last night, I'm doing the presentation on the Zoom and he's getting more nodes as I'm doing the presentation. Tomas is getting more nodes. And when I was talking to Tony, I'm like, look, you spent $53 million in nodes. You're getting ready to be up to 59 million. I'm like, he will tell you the project that he has waited the most is this project because we're instantly global. We're not having to open up different cities, which that's fine and that's great, right? With other projects. But I'm just sharing the difference is this one is something that people understand, people get. It's easy to promote. It's easy to understand. There's no borders. We're global instantly. And we're going to be our goal is to drive millions of people that want to pay for the platform and continue to make it better. And they're earning rewards and we're rewarding the right behavior, what we want repeated. And so I'm excited. I believe it's going to be one of the biggest things one of the biggest projects we've ever seen. And we're going to work hard to make that happen. So Brian, I appreciate the time of letting me on here. And if there's anything else I can add, happy to, but it's pretty simple. I think I hit most of the bullet points.
You did. I went and bought one too last night after your overview. Just a couple questions. Just quick, easy questions, just so we have these answered. Like, what, obviously you kind of already went over, but why did you partner with Connect to launch this?
Well, the reason I partner with Connect is because when I look at, they've already done stuff like this, right? They got a community. It's not like Ethereum. And again, this is a newer world to me, the blockchain space. So when Tony and Ryder and all of these guys are saying, look, if you look at Ethereum, they have, a bunch of projects, maybe 600 that are really legit, but it's like they're all competing against one another. When you look at Connect, all of the projects, we're supporting one another. Like the community is supporting one another. And they went from a team of 10 to now they got a team of 200 out at Nerd at their 20-some thousand square foot office in Utah. They've done 500 billion transactions in the last several years. technology is improved. Then you've got people that are coming to them, some of the biggest in the world, like Tiffany's, which I don't think I'm supposed to be saying that, but you got Ferrari wants to put their cars on the blockchain. Tiffany wants to put their jewelry on the blockchain. And so I'm like, man, they got some of the best in the world and they know what they're doing. And we saw what they did with Gala. And now here we are, 500 billion transactions later, better technology, a bigger team, more talent, and then they're attracting the best of the best. I'm like, I wouldn't go anywhere else.
Absolutely. And I've heard about the Tiffany's one. They've talked about it on multiple different Zooms. Another thing too, like, are you guys doing any kind of trial demos with Rally or anything out there that we can see or use here soon?
Yeah, the ones that are doing the founder nodes, we're probably going to roll out like a beta for all of you to take a look at and do the demo.
Okay.
But right now we're working on a bunch of big stuff behind the scenes. So yeah, our goal is to move as fast as we can over the next few weeks, but yet roll out something that every single person is going to be proud of, and then we keep building on that.
I like it. And I know you probably don't have all the paperwork and everything on this, but what are you kind of predicting Rally to be come Friday morning when people log on here?
You mean once we launch?
Yeah, no, like,
Oh, you mean how many nodes are sold?
yeah, because if it was 1.2 million was sold in 2 hours, like, guys, you understand there's 100,000 of these nodes, correct?
100,000 nodes and that's it. Yeah, once they're gone. And it's hard because it's hard to know because, like, for example, Tony told me he has one guy that has his yacht parked in the Bahamas at the Atlantis that is going to come over to Puerto Rico to meet with him. And he said, this guy has the potential to spend what Tony spent.
Wow. Okay. So
now I don't know when he's meeting with that guy. I don't know how many he could purchase. I don't know if it's before Friday, it could be later on. So we just don't know. One person could come in and buy hundreds themselves, because I'm trying to get the reports myself and I don't have a current update, but hopefully I will have one today.
I guarantee it's going to be a big difference then,
It's definitely over 2,500
yeah,
because it should have been up $400 to $600 the first 2 hours.
exactly. So you guys understand that every 100 of these are sold, it goes up $100. When I first started, Grow was 3,800. Now Grow is 41. I'm like, wow. So, thank you, Cryptomic. You got a question? You can unmute.
Oh yeah, it's Mecca, but my metaverse name is Crypto Mech Brian.
Okay, cool.
And thank you for inviting me to the call. But I had a question. So Thursday we get in, pay the $2,500, and then after that, how soon do we need to repurchase another package, or do we could just keep buying them for 500, just keep buying them? Because
No, that's not correct. We need to talk after this because you're
okay,
talking about the Win Smart Nodes. We're talking about a specific brand within a Connect, which is Rally. So I'll talk to you about that.
Raleigh is something different.
Raleigh is one of the brands. I think Darren, we got like 14 different brands, 12 brands within.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes, close to 15. And that's the great thing about it. I mean, here it's almost like we have multiple companies. We do have multiple companies in our community. And so people can come in and we can go, hey, what pulls on your heartstrings? Well, man, I love Grow. I love to know what's actually in my food. I love Galvin. I love the project of Switch, or, hey, look, man, I can see that, Rally, this video conferencing technology being one of the first ones on the blockchain, and you're earning rewards and how it's something that everyone needs and everyone can use. And I can see it going viral and meetings in 100 countries the first day. So when you feel passionate about a project, then you can decide, hey, look, I want to buy nodes in that project to be, and again, I love it because there's no owner of a company like Uber. All the drivers are ticked. They keep messing with their money. So when they decentralize rideshare and we have nodes, you're an owner of the next Uber, but on the blockchain, right? So here we miss Zoom, but we have the ability to be node owners, purchase software, and be on the very beginning, we missed like Zuckerberg. We know the people that got involved in the internet, Zuckerberg
Mm-hmm.
with Facebook and Jeff Bezos with Amazon and Elon Musk. We missed that. Here,
Mm-hmm.
we have the ability to be those people.
Right.
Gotcha. So do they have a video on all of the brands?
Yeah,
So I could get,
we'll talk about that.
okay, Brian. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I'm at work, so let me mute.
So, Darren, thank you so much for coming on here. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I don't really have anything else to ask you.
Well, that's the great news, my man. Like
Yeah,
everything here is pretty simple to understand, right? So
yeah. And I did know my buddy Jeff's like, hey, I love this program because, the Chinese run Zoom, and, why don't we have an American platform too? So Sam has her hand up. What's up, Sam? Sam put this
Hey,
together.
first of all, thank you very much for coming on here, Darren. And you didn't hesitate when I reached out to you last night to join us on our private team Zoom. So I appreciate your time with this and a better understanding for us all. What I do want to acknowledge is you did mention, that this is pre-launch. So nothing, we're basically get in now while the price is the lowest it's ever going to be. They do give that disclaimer when you go into the rally node. So it says in the disclaimer, it talks about, the pre-sale purchases will not be able to earn digital rewards until after the official launch and activation of the Rev blockchain and activation of the rewards distribution, which may happen on different dates. So when you talked about, you don't want to give a date, but, you guys are, pulling your weight really hard to do this in the next few weeks. Would that be for, getting it on the blockchain? Because it seems like there's a difference between when you say launch, it's now on the blockchain.
Well, yeah. So we'll in the next 4 to 6 weeks, have our own blockchain, have the nodes up and running, you being able to host your node online and earning digital rewards. Yeah, the goal is to have all of that up and running in the next several weeks.
Okay. And then so for now, when we do purchase the nodes here during pre-launch, I think I'd read that you don't need to get your block fabric, that $4.95 for this node.
No,
Right?
you won't have to worry about that until it's officially launched. As long as you just get your node, you're locked in at that price. And then day one, when the company launches, you'll get notified. Then you'll just host it in block fabric, and your nodes are active day one in the project.
Absolutely. Yep.
Wonderful. Thanks for explaining that.
You got it. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, that's huge because at the same time, like Darren said, I mean, this is going to be the cheapest you'll ever get it with the most amount of tokens that your rewards that you're going to get. One other question, is there a plan to market rally to corporate America, to have an opinion on teleconferencing?
Yeah, we definitely, we're meeting with some pretty big people in the marketing world on how to get the brand out, which is going to help all of us because our goal is to drive millions and millions of customers to create that revenue generating activity. So yeah, we're in the process of doing all of that as well. Sometimes we're having several Zoom, right now it's Zoom meetings a day or Microsoft Team or whatever it is, with different groups of people putting all of this together. And what's exciting is I've never seen a team this sharp before. So
I like it.
Yeah, I had a quick question, Brian. And what's the brother name that's speaking?
Darren?
Hi, Darren. It's me again. Quick question. I was on the call last night, and it was blowing my mind when the brother was speaking about how he had dropped millions, 20 million here, 30 million there. I was like, who was this dude, right? I think the guy in Florida last night, right?
Yeah. That was the yes. Mm-hmm.
My question is, how would that affect us? The fact that he's dropping millions like that, will that affect us as well? Getting in so soon?
Yeah, well, here's the great thing about it. Number one, the way the blockchain works, and again, this is all newer to me too, the last several months, but you're time stamped in the blockchain. So you come in today and you get your node, and then someone else comes in tomorrow, they're under you in the blockchain. So when you have someone purchasing millions of dollars of nodes, and you're going to participate in the rewards and things like that. So yeah, and here's another thing too. When you look at, I don't know what I'm allowed to say, what I'm not allowed to say, but Tomas, when they got into Gala, had 500 nodes. John had 10. John went to work sharing with people about the nodes. Tomas, not so much. John made and Tomas made a lot. John made the same amount or more because he made up in sharing what he didn't have in millions of dollars to buy nodes. So I didn't have millions of dollars I could throw into nodes right off the bat. Right. So, but the
Okay.
good news is when we have all of these people working together, they're purchasing
Mhm.
nodes, they're sharing. As the
Mhm.
community continues to grow, yeah, it's going to help all of us.
Based on utility, it's based on usage. So the more people we share this with to get that coin, the more we're gonna make.
Yeah, the potential is there. I'm really careful. Like, hey, look, I'm not a financial advisor. We can't
Yeah,
promise anything. High
or
risk, high reward. But if I look
mhm,
at Gala when they had 10 people
mhm,
and they went from a fraction of nothing to 80 some cents, like last
mhm.
night, John said it went up 36,000%. Now
Yeah,
we don't have 10 people, we got 200 people, some of the
okay.
best in the world. Now we've done 500 billion transactions on the blockchain. Right now we've got more projects. We got a bigger community. We've got better technology. So I'm like, wow, even if we just did what Gala did, that would be phenomenal. But I believe
Mhm,
then on top of that, you look at the marketplace and you got the Bitcoin halving. Go back and Google what happens normally during the Bitcoin halving every 4 years. There's like a 12
mhm,
to 18 month spike, a bull run, right? Then you've got
mhm.
the ETFs that just came out, which and again, I had to Google what was the ETF months ago, and it beat the gold,
Um,
right? It beat the gold. And so then you got Bitcoin now being adopted. You got the digital currency, and you got the big names like BlackRock, Fidelity. So when you look at all of these things that are working in our favor,
oh
and
yeah.
then we go out and do what we should do, to me, it's a
Mhm.
it's a perfect storm.
The win-win situation. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Darren. I'm going to end this now.
You
And
got it.
get back with the person that invited you here. If you're watching the replay, get back with the person that invited you to watch this replay. Get on our Zooms Tuesday morning, Tuesday evening, Thursday morning, Thursday evening.